Good morning. Before we start with our orientation program, we would like to remind you of the following viewing guidelines. First, watch the student orientation broadcast in its entirety. This will ensure that you will take down all the essential information that will be presented to you in the broadcasts. Second, avoid skipping or fast forwarding any part of the student orientation broadcasts. This way, in connection with the first guideline, you will not miss any relevant detail pertaining to the essential information we expect you to learn from this orientation. Third, please attend to our open forum at the end of the broadcast to answer your inquiries. And finally, answer the evaluation link to be given after the open forum. Third, please make sure to attend our open forum at the end of the broadcast to answer your inquiries. And finally, answer the evaluation link to be given after the open forum. To begin with our program, let us start with a prayer for the guidance of our Almighty God and the Philippine national anthem.
All that I am sings of a God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my Lord. All that I am sings of the God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my
My soul gives
Lord.
glory to the Lord, rejoicing in my saving God.
Looks upon me in my state, and all the world will call me blessed.
For God works marvels in my sight, and holy, holy is God's name.
All that I am sings of the God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my Lord.
God's mercy is from age to age on those who follow in fear.
Whose arm is power and strength, and scatters all the proud of
Who
heart.
cast the mighty from their thrones and raises up the lowly
All
ones.
that I am sings of the God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my
God
Lord.
fills the starving with good things, the rich are left with empty hands.
Protecting all the faithful ones, remembering Israel with mercy.
The promise known to those before, and to their children
All that I
forever.
am sings of a God who brings new life to birth in me. My spirit soars on the wings of my Lord. On the wings of my Lord.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Good morning, Bicol University Open University. Welcome to our virtual orientation program for the first semester, school year 2020-2021. This two-day activity will provide you our academic policies, rules and regulations, and the university's services at large. I am Professor Roldan Cabiles, happy to serve as your moderator. Thank you for choosing Bicol University Open University. To welcome you all in this orientation, here is the Instructional Development Coordinator of Bicol University Open University, Dr. Emily M. Agonos.
Good morning. We are on the first day of the orientation for the students of Bicol University Open University. Welcome back to the old students, and let us all give a warm welcome to the new students who are enrolled in the following academic programs offered by the BUOU this semester. Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership and Management, Master in Management, Master in Public Administration, Master in Local Government Management, Master of Arts, Major in Educational Leadership and Management, English Education, and Social Studies Education. There are increases in the number of enrollees for all the programs, and we are happy that you decided to continue with your desire to earn a higher degree of education. In spite of the pandemic, we may encounter some difficulty in this new normal in terms of academics, but it will be minor compared to what we have experienced for the past months during community quarantine. Rest assured that your teachers, who are fully supported by the administration and management of the Bicol University, will help everyone to cope with future challenges to give you a meaningful stay at the BU Open University. Today, you will be provided with an overview about the BUOU, academic policies, distance education delivery, and a tutorial on a virtual classroom that will be used in some of your subjects. We will also be listening to an inspirational message by our university president and also by the OIC Dean of the Graduate School. Join us during the second day for the presentation of the various services available for you as students of the Bicol University. After all the presentations, you will have a chance to ask questions. Your professors and the heads of concerned units will be very willing to provide answers and extend assistance to your academic needs. Thank you and welcome to the BUOU Students Orientation Program.
Thank you, Dr. Agonos. At this juncture, friends, let us listen to the message of our University President, Dr. Arnulfo M. Mascareñas, SUC President 4.
To our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Ame Durusan, to Dr. Ram Lorino, the Dean of the Bicol University Open University, to the faculty members of Bicol University Open University, to the admin support personnel, my dear students, good morning. The recent 6.9 magnitude earthquake that hit the epicenter in Cataingan, Masbate has added another grave concern to our already anxious minds. As if the pandemic we are experiencing is not enough, another one comes. There is no better time for distance education to truly shine and be timely and relevant than today, when the world is reeling from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and other natural disasters. This brings us to the realization that the only mode in terms of learning that can get us through disasters and disruptions is distance education in its various platforms. As much as we would have wanted to stick to the idea of synchronous learning in the Open University, we cannot deny the fact that ideally, it may not be enough. We need to look into and manage flexible learning delivery modes that will ensure that no student is left behind. Let us remember that although we are in distance education and the Open University uses synchronous learning, we still need to contextualize the learning experience based on the situations of our students. Yesterday, I had a crash course in using Google Forms. Like all things at the start, it was a bit difficult, but eventually, when you get the hang of it, everything falls into place. Navigating becomes easy, of course, with a little help from a reliable tutor. Friends, students, faculty, this academic year, we are navigating an unfamiliar territory. Like all things unfamiliar, we are bound to make detours. We may even get lost for a while. After all, we are all coping with a pandemic that we have little to no knowledge of, while striving to adapt to the new reality of the new normal. But we have been equipped to use the tools of the trade. We have been blessed to be part of Bicol University that stands not only for excellence in education, but more so for fairness and compassion, especially during these most trying times. Bear in mind that our utmost concern is your safety and protection as we try to sustain your learning. We, the Bicol University Administration, along with the rest of your mentors and the entire Bicol University family, is here to be your partners in education in this new normal. I know that prior to being officially enrolled in Bicol University, you had your share of difficulties and challenges. But now, you are part of Bicol University family, and that is something not everyone can claim or say. All of us at this moment are groping our way inch by inch in this current situation. Just like learning how to navigate the Google Forms for the first time and finally learning how to do it on my own, I know that the difficulties and challenges, the confusion and stress are far from over. In fact, this will always be part of the context of our instructional delivery and learning experiences. But eventually, one day, everything will fall into place with a lot of patience and a little help from your Bicol University family. When in doubt, ask. When confused, seek counsel. When difficulty arises, such as inability to connect for lack of electricity or signal, or both, learn the art of knowing how and what to compromise to get into a win-win situation for all concerned. This goes for every student and faculty as well. We are partners in education. We should have each other's backs. We take each other by the hand and together journey towards the fulfillment of our dreams. That is, a safe, protected, timely, and relevant delivery of learning. Should any of us falter in our steps, again, we have each other's backs. We are partners in education. In this way, navigating in this new normal becomes easy, and we will find ourselves riding the waves of this pandemic with a stronger faith in ourselves, in one another, and in our God, who will eventually make all things fall into their respective places. No matter how impossible this vision might be today, hold on to it. Things will be better, not because we can make them better immediately, but because we will always be partners in education. Welcome to Bicol University. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, President Mascareñas, for leading us towards the four pillars of Bicol University: scholarship, character, leadership, and service. And now, let us listen to another message from the OICD of the Bicol University Graduate School. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Dr. Herbert Rosana.
To the President of Bicol University, Dr. Arnulfo M. Mascareñas. To the Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Amelia A. Dorosan. To the Dean of the BU Open University, Dr. Ramses M. Lorino. To the faculty members, my colleagues. To the students, our dear students, our friends, ladies and gentlemen. In behalf of the Bicol University Graduate School, I would like to extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you. At this time, we are entering a new academic year full of challenges and surprises. The COVID-19 pandemic has radically changed the way we do things and has ushered in new normalities. The obstacles brought by this pandemic are not, however, insurmountable because we possess the intelligence, the ingenuity, and the character to surmount these challenges. Now that you have taken the plow, as the saying goes, there is no turning back, because anyone who turns his back is not worthy of the cause. This is to borrow the sayings of the gospel. In the gospel, we hear Jesus was inviting his followers to follow him, and he compared that journey into the taking of the plow, as in working in the farm. So once you have taken your plow, you don't have to turn back, because according to him, he who turns back will not be able to achieve his goal. So I'm speaking specifically to the new students who have embarked on a new way in their career path. And I am also speaking and addressing my message to the old students. Your success in graduate studies lies in nowhere else but within yourselves. Napoleon Bonaparte, the famous French emperor who was instrumental in the concert of Europe, once said, "Once you have made up your mind, stick to it. There's no longer an if or but." So Open University is different from the regular conventional offerings in the university, in that this mode of learning calls for self-direction and self-discipline on your part. What is good about this is that it gives you the responsibility and accountability to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. You learn at your own pace, and you learn at your own time, and you are entirely responsible for the outcome of your study. Unlike in the face-to-face or the conventional method of learning, when you have to attend your classroom on a regular basis on a specified or on a structured time, here in the Open University, you're going to do and undertake your learning at your own time, at your own pace. And it calls for self-discipline and self-direction. Now, we are moving into the digital age, and learning has to move in that direction as well. The connectivity between learner and the facilitator of learning is mediated by several modes, and one of them is the digital modes. During those times when there were no internet, there were no telephone, people had to physically attend lectures in the university, because that is the only way by which they can keep in touch with their teacher or with their professor or with the library. But today, even if you are located in the other end of the world and your teacher or your professor is located somewhere in the globe far away from you, you can always make that connection through the digital age, through the internet. So there is no way that you can say that you can never connect with your teacher, but this connectivity enables us to communicate. So never think that the open university system is inferior to the conventional mode of learning. Remember that learning is lifelong and it takes many different forms. And an effective way of learning is one that changes our way of thinking, our way of doing things, and improve the quality of our lives. Today, more than ever, graduate education is undergoing a major readjustment. This is a challenge to each and every one of us, especially with the issuance of CHED Memorandum Order Number 15 Series of 2019, or otherwise known as the new CMO on policies, standards, and guidelines for graduate programs. Graduate education is different from a baccalaureate program. This is the stage of academic work where the ultimate goal is to contribute to the process of knowledge acquisition, generation, and sharing and exchange that is distinct from the baccalaureate level. To quote the CMO, the general outcomes of graduate programs are the mastery of a specialized field of study, the development of original and critical thinking, and the demonstration of problem-solving skills that prepare the degree holder for advanced instruction and leadership positions in the areas of research and creative work, as well as the practice of his or her profession. One of the most tangible results of your study will be a cutting-edge thesis or dissertation founded on solid problematization and theorizing, with the result that will contribute to the body of knowledge, improve systems and practice of your respective profession. That is why early in your studies, you have to develop a concept note, work closely with your advisor, and develop the heart and the mind of a scholar. Our graduate endeavor should not only be centered on getting promoted. I know you want to be promoted in your work. I know you want to get ahead in your careers. But let us also focus our studies on how we can harness our individual ability, on how to become someone who can contribute to the well-being of our society. Take this as an opportunity to enhance yourself, to prepare yourselves for better work in the future, for higher responsibility, and be ready to contribute to the well-being of our country. We, your professors, your administrators, stand ready always to provide assistance as you complete your coursework and your thesis and dissertation. Please bear with our unintended shortcomings, but we promise to serve you better, always committed to the highest standards of quality service and client satisfaction. We know that this COVID-19 situation has brought us into peculiar situations, and we ask for your forbearance, and we ask also for your forgiveness if we were not able to be of service as we should. But rest assured that we are doing our best to be able to serve you and to make your stay in Bicol University a pleasant one, an enjoyable one, and most especially a productive one. So in behalf of the graduate school, in behalf of the faculty members of the graduate school, in behalf of the administration of the Bicol University Graduate School, I would like to welcome you to the academic year 2020-2021. God bless us all and enjoy your virtual stay at BU Open University.
Thank you, Dr. Rosana, for giving our students a motivation and a direction as they complete their respective programs. At this point in time, friends, let us listen to the Dean of the BU Open University as he discusses the background of BUOU. Friends, Dr. Rameses M. Lorino, the Dean of Open University.
Good morning. This is Dr. Rameses Lorino, the Dean of the Bicol University Open University. To our beloved University President and the brainchild of Bicol University Open University, Dr. Arnulfo Mascareñas. To the OIC Dean of the Graduate School, Dr. Herbert Rosana. To our colleagues in the Open University, to our dear students, gentlemen and ladies, good morning. I am here to present the background of Bicol University Open University, which will provide you the legal basis, the philosophical foundations, the program offerings, core and affiliate faculty members, organizational structure, financial and administrative concerns. On November 20 of 1997, the Bicol University Board of Regents passed BOR Resolution number 24, series of 1997, which approved the setting up of the Bicol University Open University. The objective of the BU Open University was to bring the curricular programs of the university to a wider population of students in the Bicol region. To fully operationalize BOR Resolution number 24 in accordance with the present thrust and direction set forth in the BU Comprehensive Development Plan, Administrative Order number 177, series of 2004 was issued to provide the general implementing guidelines for the operation of the BU Open University. The emphasis of the BU Open University under the present leadership is to initially address the educational capability enhancement need of professionals by offering selected graduate programs via distance education. The long-term direction of the BU Open University is to eventually offer some baccalaureate courses in support of regional development. The restructured Bicol University Open University is now mandated to be the degree offering and eventually a degree granting academic unit of the university. It was also given authority by the Board of Regents to expand its program offerings into offering selected undergraduate courses and non-degree or short-term courses needed in the region. Republic Act number 10650, also known as the Open Distance Learning Act, was passed in 2014 to expand and further democratize access to quality tertiary education through the promotion and application of open learning as a philosophy of access to educational services and the use of distance education as an appropriate, efficient, and effective system of delivering quality higher and technical education services in the country. We are also observing the CHED Memorandum Orders issued by the Commission of Higher Education from the CMO number 15 series of 2019 down to the CMO number 27 series of 1995 with emphasis on CMO number 35, series of 2020, which is the updated policies and guidelines on open learning and distance education. The board resolutions from 1997 to 2018 spells out on how do we operate through the BU Open University. Admin Order number 347, series of 2019, spells out the revised implementing guidelines of the Bicol University Open University. As a world-class university producing leaders and change agents for social transformation and development, and as rooted in Republic Act 5521, the mission of the Bicol University is to give professionals and technical training and provide advanced and specialized instruction in literature, philosophy, the sciences, and the arts, besides providing for the promotion of scientific and technological researches. Bicol University commits to continually strive for excellence in instruction, research, and extension by meeting the highest level of clientele satisfaction and adhering to quality standards and applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. The BUOU seeks to provide wider access to quality education, adhering to the highest standards of academic excellence in order to produce trained manpower required for the development of the Bicol region. The program specially seeks to provide wider access to quality education by offering degree programs via the distance education mode. It has also established an innovative system of continuing education of professionals and career development for those unable to avail of the opportunity through the usual traditional delivery mode, and develop instructional materials and technology appropriate for distance education. These are the program's offerings of the BUOU at present. Out of the 22 approved programs to be offered, the following are being offered this semester: the Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership and Management, the Master in Local Government Management, the Master in Management, the Master of Public Administration, the Master of Arts in Educational Leadership and Management, the English Education, and the Social Studies Education. As to the strategies for implementation, specifically for administrative, the BUOU shall be separated, an independent academic unit of Bicol University. A dean and an associate dean shall be designated to help implement the restructured Bicol University Open University. It shall have its own faculty complement composed of core or regular faculty who may be either hired or deployed from other colleges, affiliate faculty, and part-time faculty. As Dean of the Bicol University Open University, I have the honor to present to you the core faculty and affiliate faculty, starting with yours truly as Dean of BOU and the Program Advisor of the Master of Public Administration. We have Dr. Emily Agonos, the Instructional Development Coordinator and the Program Advisor of the Master in Management. We have Dr. Ramon T. De Leon, the Research and Extension Coordinator and the Program Advisor of Master in Local Government Management. Dr. Melinda D. De Guzman, the Academic Program Coordinator and the Program Advisor of the Master of Arts in Educational Leadership and Management and the Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership and Management. We have Dr. Maria Jane B. Mascareñas, the Professor 6 and Program Advisor of the Master of Arts in Social Studies Education. We have Professor Roldan C. Capiles, a PhD candidate and the Program Advisor of the Master of Arts in English Education, also the Document Controller and the GAD Coordinator. Professor Rolly N. Monte Alegre, the Academic Support Coordinator of BUOU. We are proud to have affiliate faculty members to include Professor Dave Stonga, the Director for the University Student Development Services, Dr. Luis O. Amano, the Vice President for Research, Development and Extension, Dr. Renilyn E. Bautista, the Director for the Communications and Public Relations Office, Dr. Reina O. Habalo, the Chief Presidential Management Staff Office, and the Director for ITIAP. Professor Elma M. Mirandilla and Dr. Benigno Balilo, and the Vice President for Administration and Finance, Attorney Joseph L. Bartolata. We have also technical staff to include Professor Rolly N. Montealegre, Ms. Angelica Carla Sels, and Mr. Gerald Henley Maldo. For the organizational structure of the Bicol University Open University, 3 offices are created to provide academic support, which will be under the supervision of the Dean, namely the Office of the Academic Program Coordinator, the Office of the Instructional Development, and the Office of Academic Support. The OID shall take charge of the preparation of instructional materials and modules and production of learning kits, while the OAS shall take charge of all the matters related to instructional delivery and shall manage BOOU distance learning centers. As to the financial, the existing tuition and other fees shall be charged to the students enrolled in the program, 400 per unit for the master's degree, and for the doctoral degree, we collected 500 per unit. An additional amount of 1,005, known as the distance learning fee, will be collected per student per semester to cover the cost of honoraria of faculty in charge and tutors, communication and travel expenses of faculty and staff, maintenance of learning centers, and other related expenses. Payment of the required fees shall be made through BU authorized banks, and the students is required to show proof of payment to be considered for enrollment. Fees collected under the program will accrue to the income of the BU Open University, subject to the provisions of Administrative Order Number 40, Series of 2016. Annual work and financial plan shall be prepared as basis for income utilization and expenditure. As gleaned in the slide, you have seen the incentive or honorarium of faculty advisor for panel chair members and document recorder for the master's and doctoral dissertation. It is spelled out all the total fees to be collected from the students from the proposal defense to pre-oral defense up to the final oral defense and upon submission of the hardbound copies. Okay. Other fees to be collected to include admission fee, matriculation, medical, library, athletic, cultural, guidance, SQA fee, and of course the distance learning fee. We are happy to announce that from the first semester of 2019 to 2020, we have an increasing number of students enrolled in BUOU. From the first semester, we have 100 students enrolled in the Master in Management and the Master of Public Administration. With the offering of additional courses in the second semester of 2019-2020, the students enrolled in BOU increased to 131 students, to include EDD in Educational Leadership and Management, the MA in Educational Leadership and Management, the MA in English Education, the MA in Social Studies Education, the Master of Public Administration, and the Master in Management. Thank you so much, and we welcome you to Bicol University Open University.
Thank you, Dr. Lorino, for giving us a comprehensive presentation on what BU Open University is. As one of the higher institutions in the Bicol region offering distance education, it is good to note the academic policies, to produce trained manpower necessary for the development. For you friends to be guided of our academic policies in the BU Open University, let us listen to the presentation of our Academic Program Coordinator, Dr. Melinda de Guzman.
Good morning. I am Dr. Melinda de Guzman, the Academic Program Coordinator of Bicol University, Open University. I am tasked to discuss this morning, and this is our discussion for the new normal regarding the student concerns. Our offerings in the Open University are the Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership and Management, Doctor of Philosophy in Peace and Security Administration, Master in Management, Master of Public Administration, Master of Arts in Peace and Security Studies, Master in Local Government Management, Master of Arts in Educational Leadership and Management, English Education, and Social Studies Education. The general rules and procedures. Let us first tackle about the admission. For a new student, you must have an appropriate bachelor's degree from any recognized institution with your official transfer of records, certification of proficiency in English if English is not the medium of instruction, application fee in bank draft, money order, or cash, and other requirements required to the program. Admission of prospective student shall be approved by the Dean upon the recommendation of the Admissions Committee based on the following, with a general weighted average of 2.2 or 87 and 1.7 or 92. It's equivalent for applicants to the master's and doctoral programs, respectively. 2.5 for the diploma program, except in cases of scholarship meant to upgrade the quality of education in the country. Appropriateness of previous degrees earned to the graduate program applied for. During the registration, the regular academic load of students is 12 units per semester for full-time graduate students and 9 units for part-time students. The Bicol OU do not offer summer classes. Government employees who are not full-time students shall not exceed the prescribed 9 units academic load during any academic year. The students on probationary status may be allowed to register the following term after completing the 9 units of coursework with a general weighted average of 1.5. For residence requirement and time limit, a candidate for the master's doctoral degree who has been accepted with transfer credits from another institution is required to earn in BU at least 12 academic units for master's and 24 academic units for doctoral. And it must be completed their degrees within a maximum of 5 years and 7 years respectively, exclusive of official leave of absence or OLLA. Leave of absence is without an approved leave of absence will be considered part of the prescribed period to finish the degree. Prolonged LOA must not exceed 1 year and must be requested by a written petition to the Dean of the BUOU and state the reason for the leave required. Total leave of absence must not exceed 2 years. Application for all AA should be filed and approved by the Dean, preferably before going on leave. For the coursework requirement, a student will earn any of the degree after 2 to 3 years upon completing 30 units coursework, and the 6-unit masteral thesis. For the foundation courses, 12 units, major courses, 15 units, cognate courses, 6 units, masteral thesis, 6 units, and a total of 36 units. For the doctoral program, foundation courses, 18 units, major courses, 24 units, cognate courses, 6 units, and dissertation writing, 12 units, with a total of 60 units. Requirements for graduation: you must have a foreign language for Filipino students, or Filipino or any major Philippine language for foreign students. The maximum length of time permitted by the graduate school to complete any of the masteral programs is 5 years and 7 school years for doctoral programs, exclusive of official leave of absence. A graduate diploma is a non-thesis, a postgraduate degree program which requires a minimum coursework requirement of 30 units taken from the regular course offering in the master's degree program, basic bridging courses, and cognates. A student granted with a graduate diploma may be allowed to pursue the master's degree or the thesis or non-thesis, subject to pertinent policies of the graduate school, as long as his or her general weighted average is 1.7. Those with general weighted average lower than 1.7 may pursue additional 2 subjects, provided they obtain a general weighted average of 1.7 in this subject. Our grading system: the BU-OU uses a numerical grading system ranging from 1.0 to 5.0, where 1.0 is the highest grade and 5.0 means failure. Passing grade is 3.0, but the graduate school has to maintain a general weighted average of 2. Otherwise, he or she is not allowed to take the comprehensive examination and will subsequently be qualified from earning the degree. A student who incurred a failing mark in his or her coursework may be allowed to retake the subject for not more than 2 times. Comprehensive examination. A comprehensive examination is administered on the last Saturday and Sunday of October and February. A student may apply for comprehensive examination after passing all the prescribed courses in his or her program. No student will be allowed to take the examination if he has incomplete grade in any of the prescribed courses. Only students with a greater weighted average of 2 or better and complied with all the requirements shall be allowed to take the comprehensive examination. If your GWA or the general weighted average is lower than 2, he or she is given the chance to qualify to take 2 additional courses or 6 units to obtain the required general weighted average. Application for comprehensive examination shall be submitted to the Office of the Dean of the Bicol University Open University at least 15 days before examination date. To pass the comprehensive examination, the student must pass all the areas, namely foundation, major, and cognate courses for the doctoral program and foundation and major courses for the master's program. A student who fails 3 times in the comprehensive examination will be required to take 2 refresher courses in the area where he or she failed. After 1 month, a report on the result will be sent to the student. For the thesis and dissertation writing, after earning at least 12 units and 15 units, master's and doctoral of coursework with graduate credit, the student may be allowed to enroll and work on his or her thesis or dissertation. All students enrolled in thesis and dissertation writing shall report to their respective advisors for consultation. The student has to select his or her graduate research advisor upon enrolling or his or her thesis dissertation. Thesis dissertation student shall follow the prescribed thesis dissertation format for each degree program. Application for the thesis dissertation proposal defense should be made not later than 1 week before the date of defense. There are phases of defense. First, the proposal defense. The second one, the pre-oral defense. And the final is the final examination. These three are the evaluation of the research output shall be based on the following criteria. Defense 40%, substance 50%, form and style 10%. This is the most awaited if you finish on the required number of years stay in Bicol University, Open University, the graduation. A graduate student in master's and doctoral program is recommended for graduation. Completion of all academic courses towards the degree, passing the written comprehensive examination, passing the final oral examination, submission of the approved 6 bound copies, payment of graduation and fees, and presentation of the corresponding university clearance. With that, my dear students in Bicol University, welcome to Open University, and thank you. God bless us all.
Thank you, Dr. De Guzman, for presenting our academic policies. Indeed, our students should really be guided with these salient policies so that they can finish their degree on time. At this juncture, we shall be listening to another discussion on the distance education delivery. It will be given to us by one of the 4 faculty members of BU Open University. Friends, here is Dr. Maria Jane Mascareñas.
Good morning. Welcome to Bicol University Open University. My talk today is about distance education. And with 10 minutes given to me, I don't know how I'm going to squeeze them shorter, but let's just go into the different slides and presentation, and I hope I make it in 10 minutes. Okay, so welcome to Bicol University Open University. Open education is a philosophy about the way people should produce, share, and build on knowledge. What you have to know is the essential characteristic of open education is the removal of barriers of learning. Education for all, access to programs, MOOCs, OERs, open textbooks, open research, open data are just the many forms or bywords this time when we talk about open education. Open education in the Philippines has its imperatives. Okay? The Philippine response to Paris message, the forecast that education needs in the country and education agenda by the United Nations for 2030 about sustainable development goals, services to OFWs, strategy to enhance the quality of education, and most importantly, every one of us in the university dealing with distance education should know what is RA 10650. So given the directions of Open University, this was during the conference, I think in Paris, that the message was that there will be more than 434 million students who will enroll in HEIs by 2030. So what is the Philippine response on this? Offering of massive open online courses or MOOCs, and the development of open educational resources. When we say MOOCs, this is a model for delivering learning online to any person who wants to take a course with no limit on attendance. MOOCs are characterized as free of cost, openly accessible online courses which can support massive numbers of students. But these are non-formal type of learning. And what you will get are certificates. But this helps a lot for our workers in the country and off the country, because this gives a lot of opportunities, especially for OFWs. When we talk of MOOCs, it encompasses various specialization. It's open, accessible, online, and can cater to a big number of students. Another one is OER, or Open Educational Resources. These are materials in the public domain, which are released with an open license, allowing free use, adaptation, and distribution. So which means anybody can make use of OERs. You just have to select what discipline you are in and look for those references or resources. They are there outside in the web. They present educational institutions with a strategic opportunity to increase the quality of educational materials. In the Philippine context, looking into the demographics of the Philippines, accordingly, the population is 105 million. Is it until now? I think this was way back in 2017. So at this point, it should be higher than that. Young population median age is 24.3, or 52.88% are between 0 to 24 years old, which corresponds to almost 56 million. Life expectancy at birth is 69.2. 4.38% of population is in the age of 65 and above. Okay, so what does this mean? The young population will be the target for the forecast of education agenda in 2030, according to Sustainable Development Goals number 4. The education agenda in 2030, according to the United Nations, proposes to ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all by 2030. In the Philippines, poverty is still a major hindrance to accessing quality education, and everybody knows that. Now, open education is a possible recourse to this. Okay, so what are the other opportunities for distance education? It offers services to OFWs, mostly of our students. Even UPOU and other universities, most of their students are OFWs. Of the 2.2 million OFWs, there are 53% located in the Middle East, 16% East Asia, 13.1% divided into Europe, North and South America, and Australia, and 1.7% comes from Africa. Okay, so you have, for now, I have one student enrolled with me, but who finished also his master's degree in Master in Management. Bert, are you there? Okay, he finished his master's in management with us in Bicol University, Open University. And this time he is enrolled in Doctor of Education. Okay, our first graduate in Bicol University, Open University, is came from Saudi Arabia. She was the very first graduate in this unit of the university. And so you have students or you have classmates located around the globe, around the country. and you are in one class all together with your professors. The strategy for quality education. So what do we adopt to have quality education? The Philippines looks into free educational content which teachers can use. Nowadays, with the pandemic, with flexible learning, almost all of DepEd teachers and anyone in the academy are now getting familiar with OERs and flexible learning. Another is training of teachers, especially on new subjects and MOOCs or OERs, okay? So you can just read that. Now let's proceed to RA 10650. RA 10650 was crafted sometime in 2013 and was approved by Senate and Congress in 2014 of December 9. Okay? Before this was approved and presented and approved to Senate and Congress, there was a team commissioned by CHED led with UPOU as the lead institutions, gathering all private and SUCs offering distance education sometime in 2013, of which we were asked to give inputs, experiences, insights as how we deliver distance education in our respective institutions. And then in 2014, fortunately, successfully, it was approved by the Senate and Congress. Okay, so what is RA 10650? This is an act which is known as Open Distance Learning Act. Okay, so you should know at this point that once you are in distance education, your course has a legal basis. Distance education as defined in RA 10650 refers to the mode of learning in which students and teachers are physically separated from each other. It is a student-centered, guided, independent study, making use of well-studied teaching and learning pedagogies to deliver well-designed learning materials in various media. Okay, so all of you who are enrolled in Open University this time must be fully aware that when you are in your respective subjects, do not expect that you will be met by your teachers physically, because distance education says so, that students and teachers are physically separated from each other by the very word distance, okay? It is student-centered because the teacher or the FICs or your professors simply are facilitators of learning. Guided independent study. So the teacher will simply guide you on your learnings according to the course or subject and the respective course content of those subjects. Okay? It is also described as flexible learning and distributed learning. So at this point, you should understand that when you say flexible learning, it is not only online. It is not limited to online. It is distance education. Okay, everyone knows what is higher education. But when we say open distance learning as another concept presented in RA 10650, and as a strategy when we deliver distance education, it is a marriage of two concepts, open learning and distance education. It is a system which combines the methodology of distance education with the concepts of open learning and flexible learning. Okay? Open learning refers to the philosophy of learning, which is based on flexibility of access to equity in education, an educational system accessible to every individual with minimal restrictions, and emphasizing the flexibility of the system to eradicate problems caused by barriers. What do we mean by these barriers? These are the difficulty in terms of geographic location. This may be in terms of age. This may be in terms of time constraints, economic situation, and other barriers in achieving or finishing your desired degree courses. Okay, so with open learning, all these barriers are removed. When you say open university or college or institutions, these are degree granting recognized institutions by CHED, which at least have achieved level 3 accreditation in the programs offered in the traditional or conventional classroom, and which employs operational procedures and strategies for open learning institutions. Therefore, programs not reaching level 3 cannot be offered in distance education. Okay, so this will answer probably some of your curiosity why not all programs are offered in distance education. It is because there is a provision required by CHED. Okay, every program that must be offered in distance education should at least be level 3 accredited. What do we mean by level 3 accredited? That program has attained in terms of instruction, research, and extension, level 3 accreditation. This time, even internationalization. Okay? Another important provision in RA 10650 is the institutionalization of open distance learning. ODL is institutionalized given this provision in this RA or Act of ODL Act. Also, in this RA 10650, Section 9 specifies mode of delivery. Now, this is very important. The ODL programs may be delivered in terms of information communication technologies. Okay, so delivery of distance learning can be done through print. These are your textbooks, study course guides, workbooks, syllabi, correspondence feedback, and other print materials. Your handouts, your modules, these are print. Another is audiovisual. Okay, you have the radio, cassettes, slides, films, videos, you know that. Okay, also you have electronic computers, virtual classrooms, like what you're going to have in your classes, the Google Class, Google Classroom, and other educational platforms like Edmodo, wherever the professor is comfortable or convenient on delivering their courses. Another is face-to-face session, which is conducted in learning and study centers or any institutions. Okay. Now, open distance learning can be divided or delivered by way of synchronous or asynchronous delivery. Again, this time with the pandemic, this has become a common term which nobody knows or probably less knows before during the before pandemic, but this time it has become popular. When we say open distance learning, there are two ways of delivering it, synchronous and asynchronous. When we say synchronous, this simply means that the teachers and student interact with each other in real time. Okay, there is a two-way communication. It can be physically in the classroom or virtually using other technological platforms. When we say asynchronous, delivery does not take place simultaneously. In this case, the teacher may deliver the instruction via video or other technology. Okay. Currently, Bicol University, Open University, follows an asynchronous delivery type of distance education. What is asynchronous? Let's go into this. Comparative, synchronous and asynchronous. Takes place in real time. In asynchronous, it takes place over a period of time. So when the teacher sends materials, sometimes the students opens it after 1 week, 2 weeks, or even 1 month. But that's too long already. You have to work within per week session. Okay. For synchronous, you have immediate, and asynchronous, not immediate. Face-to-face conversations, while in asynchronous, you have the different materials, modules, books, emails, letter, etc. Okay? So this time, with Zoom, Google Meet, and others, we can now do synchronous delivery in Bicol University. And combination of these two results to what we call blended mode or hybrid or mixed mode. Okay? So for instance, in the synchronous mode, you do it via Google Meet or Zoom, just like what we are having now, and we're doing it in real time. But when we say asynchronous, you can record what you have presented. You have your video recording, you can record it and probably open it sometime, probably tomorrow or next day. So if you do that, that now becomes asynchronous. Okay? Okay, other features of open distance learning. Again, separation of teacher and learning according to the definition of distance education. Okay? Institution is accredited, recognized by CHED. ODL is characterized by independent self-learning style which takes place outside the formal classroom. Okay? So what could be the factors that has to be considered when you want to be enrolled in open distance learning? The student must have the willingness to take the independent, self-motivated study. Also, you should possess good time management, which includes daily study hours. So you have to discipline yourself in terms of attending to your courses. Do not just attend to it at the end of the semester. That will be a big no-no or a mistake because later on you will be cramming with all the requirements. Also, you should have the ability to contend with hours of studying alone while occasionally interacting with classmates, peers, and faculty. Now, it's a big misnomer when you say distance education, you are in isolation or you are all alone. No, you can interact with your classmates via chatting, video conferencing, or synchronously talking with each other. Okay, so you have your classmates inside your Google Classroom. You can interact with them. You can do some exchange of materials, etc. Now, who are the target client of ODL? As I've said earlier, these are the people who are too busy with their work, inadequate, distance, in terms of physical barriers, and inadequate financial resources. Imagine if you are coming from diet, you will be going to Bicol University every Saturday. That's cost. With distance education, you remove that. You only need certain technologies or even your mobile phone, smartphones. You can have it, okay? So you don't have to come to Bicol University every Saturday. Okay, that will be answered by distance learning. So ODL is designed for mature or adult learners who have the capacity to undergo independent self-learning. Okay? So ask yourselves, are you in these categories? That's why you are enrolled in distance learning. Now you have to understand it in order to survive the rigors and survive and achieve your degrees. I'm not trying to overwhelm you, but there are certain criteria or requirements that you must be able to understand so that you should be able to survive the academic environment. And it is also for individuals who have the desire for self-advancement. Okay? If you really are aiming for self-advancement, then you are in the right environment in Bicol University. Now you may ask, what would be the basis of students' final grade? Okay, since there's no face-to-face meeting, the teacher may not know the students. That is not the only strategy that we can do in teaching and learning. Usually assignments, case studies, probably other activities, term papers, proposals, researches, and examinations, of course, that is a must, so that objectively you will have your desired or deserving grades for your respective subjects. Also, what is more important, other than examinations and all those activities, is your FMA or faculty mark assignments. These are required and a must in distance education. Faculty mark assignments. This now is the trade-off for classroom. Instead of having classrooms, you should have your FMAs. Okay? Now, how is your grade computed? Grades are computed in terms of this, and it is the faculty in charge who does it, okay, or your professors. Okay, so given those characteristics of open distance learning, it's not perfect. There are challenges. So we have to look into certain challenges and how to manage it. Digital exclusion. 42% of the Filipinos have no access to the internet. We all know that, or even more this time. Okay? And the perennial problem in our country is connectivity. Okay? Media literacy in the era of fake news. Okay, this is also a challenge. That's why in my class, I never use social media. Okay? Because it's not an educational platform. You may use it in terms of notifications, short messages, updates, yes, but in terms of the course content, you cannot use social media. You have to go to an educational platform in terms of delivering the course, okay? Another important challenge, and which is a very big challenge among institutions, educational institutions like Bicol University, is the investment, okay? It requires big investment, both for teacher and the university. Hardware, software investment, provision of OERs and MOOCs, materials, etc. And more importantly, the capability of the teachers. So you will understand why, given this pandemic, most of the schools, I think almost all, from DepEd to higher education, has to do an emergency remote teaching and learning trainings for their different teachers. Okay, how do we manage this change? The university has to change its role because there's a change in educational landscape, changing the role of the university. Okay, the university has to adapt to these changes in order to survive. Changing role of the teachers, meaning the teachers are no longer the sage on the stage, but they are the guide on the side or the architect of learning. As I mentioned earlier, we as your professors only are facilitators of learning. So we are called faculty in charge. It's a terminology used in distance education. There's a need to continue doing research, of course, students' engagement and persistence to finish their course, because by experience there is high attrition rate, which can be attributed to either absence of financial investment, lack of motivation, or lack of interaction or engagement with professors due to massiveness of enrollment. Okay, so even UPOU is experiencing this high attrition rate even until now, from the start to this date. And that is also the dilemma of Bicol University, the high attrition rate. Okay, that's a challenge to the university. So I think this is the end of my talk. I will leave you with this note as I find it interesting and very much related to distance education. Technology alone will not improve education, but it can be a powerful part of the solution. That is according to Sundar Pichai, a CEO of Google. Okay, you may reflect on that. And thank you and welcome to Bicol University Open University.
Thank you, Dr. Mascareñas, for sharing your expertise on distance education. To walk us through the use of the Google Classroom, let us listen to our Academic Support Coordinator, Professor Rolly N. Monte Alegre.
Good morning. I am Professor Rolly Monte Alegre of Bicol University Open University. I will be providing you a discussion on how to access your courses through Google Classroom. Again, welcome to Open University. So for you to access your class, you need to have Google Classroom. So in this 15-minute walkthrough, I hope that I can provide you the essentials on how you will navigate, how you will connect with your professors on your classes for this first semester 2020 to 2021. Okay, let us begin. Before Google Classroom, Open University have been utilizing its email to deliver modules of instructions to its students. We utilize multiple communication platforms. We utilize messaging, phone calls, Messenger, and even Facebook to reach our students. So now, Open University have been fully utilizing Google Classroom to deliver its modules. For you to access Google Classroom, you will need internet. There is no standalone version of Google Classroom. Primarily, you will need to access it via web browsers. It is the web browsers that allows us to browse the internet. There are assortment of web browsers available today. If you are utilizing Apple or Mac, you will be provided by default with a Safari web browser. Now, if you are a Windows PC or Windows laptop user, you are by default provided with Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge in case of Windows 10. Now, there are some browsers. Actually, these are leading web browsers that are available today. Now, we have the open source, which is Mozilla Firefox. If you are using Linux operating system, it is by default available. Now, the most popular that we have today, ranked number 1, is the Google Chrome, for which our Google Classroom has its top compatibility. Okay, so there are a lot of web browsers. These are just several of hundreds of web browsers available in the internet. So it's your option, it's your choice on what to utilize in accessing Google Classroom. If I would give you a recommendation, I will go for Google Chrome because it has all the native plugins that is highly compatible natively compatible with Google Classroom. But again, it is not limited to Google Chrome. You can use or access Google Classroom on any web browser that you can utilize. It's your choice. Okay, now for you to access the Google Classroom of Open University, you will need to have a university email account under the domain bicol-u.edu.ph. Now, how will you get this? You will be provided by the ICTO or the Information and Communications Technology Office with your own university email address. Okay, instructions on how you get your own bicol-u.edu.ph will be further discussed on the second day. So for now, assuming that you already have your bicol-u.edu.ph account, let me guide you now on how you access Google Classroom. Okay, so first, I will be demonstrating on how you can access Google Classroom via your laptops or desktop workstation. So, which means we will be utilizing a web browser. Okay, so I am now using Google Chrome, as you can see. So to access Google Classroom, you just need to type classroom.google.com in your address bar. Okay, as you can see, it automatically prompts its recommendations. After that, hit enter. You will automatically be rerouted on the sign-in page for Google services. Okay, so just type in your bicol-u.edu.ph account. So for me, it's RN Montealegre at bicol-u.edu.ph. Then, of course, key in your password. Okay, so after hitting the enter key, if it's your first time joining Google Classroom with your new account, you will be prompted to pick your role. Pick I'm a student. Then you will now be redirected to your dashboard. Now, in my case, this is my dashboard. Now, with your dashboard empty, you will need now to join a class. Now, how do you join a class? Usually, for all students who already have their at bicol-u.edu.ph email account, once your FIC or professor sees your name on the official list of enrollment, you will be automatically invited to join the Google Classroom. But in your case, as new students, we understand that you don't have yet your official email account with Bicol University. Alternatively, you can also join classes via class codes. Now, class codes are provided by your FIC or professors. To join a class using a class code, you just need to click on the plus button, then click Join Class. Now, you will be prompted to enter a class code from your professor. Okay, let us try to join MPOU214 Block A. Okay, so the class code is FW6UTQI. After putting the class code, you just click Join. Okay, so that's it. Going back. So just to demonstrate, so if it's your first time to log in your Google Classroom, then it happened that you already have your at bicol-u.edu.ph email account, then your professor invites you to join his class, you will see an invite in line with your existing enrolled subjects. Alternatively, you are also provided with an official email invitation to join a class if you happen to have a bicol-u.edu.ph account. So here is the email from Professor Cabiles inviting me to join his class on Materials Design and Development in English Instruction. So let's try to click join. So once you are in, you will be automatically prompted with your dashboard. Your dashboard is simply, by default, your stream page under the stream tab. Okay, now let us navigate the interface. First is the main menu. The main menu provides you access, a shortcut to your classes. There is also an option to click or to view your calendar. Now with the calendar, you can see what are the due dates, what are the upcoming deadlines or activities that your FIC posted under his or her Google Classroom. Now, for you as students, you will be provided by default with the enrolled menu. Under the enrolled menu, you can see all the subjects you are enrolled with under Open University. Okay, now let's proceed with the tabs. The Stream tab. Under the Stream tab, you will be provided an immediate access to what are the things or what are the recent things happening on your class. In this case, this is the Maing Ed 214. So as you can see, Professor Cabiles posted his course guide, house rules, and here is a post on how to navigate the Google Classroom. Now, under classwork, you can view every activity, every assignment that your FIC posted. Okay, let me provide you an example. Let us browse Dr. Agona's class. So under classwork, you can view several modules. Under each module, you can see every activity, every assignment that she posted. Indicated also are the deadlines. So you just need to click on a specific activity, view assignment. Now to respond, you just need to add or create your work. Okay, so let's go now with the People tab. Okay, so under the People tab, you are provided a list of your classmates. And of course, your professor. Now, with this tab, you can message privately your classmate. Okay, so that's how you access Google Classroom via your laptop workstation or desktop workstation. So that is utilizing a web browser. Now, alternatively, you can also use Google Classroom via your own mobile phones. So you can utilize your tablets, you can utilize your iPads, you can utilize your Android devices, and even your iPhones. Now, how do you do it? You just need to install Google Classroom. So to install Google Classroom, you just need to go on Google Play Store. From there, search Google Classroom, then click install. Okay, it would be better if I would show you with my mobile phone. Okay, now on my mobile phone, let me share my screen. Okay, once Google Classroom is installed, you can see it as one of your apps. So in my case, I had it in my home screen, but for you to verify if it is really installed, you can see it on your app list. So as you can see, it is listed as one of my installed apps. Okay, so let's try to open it. Okay, so once you are inside Google Classroom, you will be automatically prompted with all the subjects that you are enrolled with. How do I join a class if my FIC have not invited me yet? Now, as I have discussed previously, you can also join by entering the class code. So how do you join using the class code under Google Classroom app? You just click the plus button on your lower right screen. Okay, join class. Okay, so in this part, you will now be asked for the class code that your FIC or professor provided you with. So after typing the class code, you just need to click join. Okay, so now that I have shown you how to access Google Classroom with mobile devices and your laptop or desktop workstations, let us now check on some of the advantages of using the mobile application over using your web browser. Okay, when you browse Google Classroom or when you access Google Classroom via web browsers, you are accessing it as a website. Now, if you are accessing Google Classroom as a website, it normally loads the amount of data a normal website has, which is, for example, 1.5 MB, or we say 3 MB. Okay, so that's the amount of data that you need to download to access a specific website. Now, in the case of Google Classroom, we are not very specific on how much they do have with their present setup. I mean, the image, the text, the buttons, all of that consumes data. So if you are browsing with a prepaid internet, so of course you will need to be aware of your data consumption. Now, if that's the case, it is more advantageous to use mobile application over using your laptop to browse Google Classroom. Although there are some advantages, of course. With your laptop, you can encode better, of course. You can type faster. You can browse faster. You can multitask more. You can, of course, utilize your mouse and do over some formatting with your submitted tasks and assignments. Now, that's really a limitation with mobile apps because, of course, we all know a cell phone is just like something bigger than your palm. Then there is also an option to utilize tablet, but still having a keyboard, a physical keyboard using your laptop or desktop is much better to do things when you are typing, encoding, or browsing the web. But then let's go with economy. Going back to mobile app. Now, if you are using your mobile app, the Google Classroom mobile app to access your classes or your Google Classroom class with Open University, you are just consuming 1/3, 35% of the actual website size. So which means, for example, if it's 3 MB on the app, it only consumes 1 MB. But it's really lesser than that. It's just kilobytes. With the app, you don't have to load all the images. You don't have to load the website template. Because when you install the app, it is already included with the installation data. Which means lesser consumption, economy-wise, it's really the app who has the advantage over using a laptop. Another advantage is, if you do have your app installed on your cell phone, it will also provide automatic notification. Once a professor or faculty in charge posts an activity or assignment, you will automatically be notified. So, to sum things up, if you'll be using a mobile app, less data, so more economical, you will also be provided with notifications and updates real time with your mobile phone. Reality check, we spend more time with our mobile phone than using laptops or desktops. Sometimes we sleep with it. Okay, so I guess that's all. Thank you very much. So again, welcome to Open University. See you.
Thank you, Professor Monty Alegre, for comprehensively presenting to us on how to navigate the Google Classroom. For the meantime, friends, we shall be using the Google Classroom as our platform while we are waiting for the BUOU's Learning Management System, or LMS. We would like to remind you to use your official BU Gmail account for an automatic access in the respective Google Classrooms of your professors. And that concludes our orientation for today. To answer your queries, please join us in the open forum through the links provided in the official Facebook page of the Bicol University Open University through Zoom or Google Meet. See you there, everyone!